Well, hey, Emmanuel family, we're so glad you're joining us right now. We wanted to send a quick video update just to let you know about a couple things that are happening between now and things you need to know for Sunday. And so I wanted to take just a minute to address Sunday, this past Sunday. It was great to just have folks back on campus and to see everybody. We learned a lot. We're going to have just one service this coming Sunday at 10:30, but there are registrations available. It's live right now, and there's still some spots available, and so we'd love for those of you that can to register for that and come join us on campus. With that in mind, I did want to address something from this past Sunday. For those of you that joined us live and those of you that were able to watch the teaching from Sunday, there's a moment toward the end of the service where I addressed the events that are going on in our country right now. And at that point, I addressed the fact that this is a very weighty issue. There's a lot. It's an emotionally charged issue, and I wanted to share from my pastor's heart just what conviction I was feeling and just the response I believe we're called to as a church. But I also realized, and I shared this on Sunday, but I want to say this again. I know this is a heavy issue, and I know there's a lot to all sides of the argument. But ultimately, what I want to speak to is our role as believers. And so I tried to be careful in that and wanted my pastor's heart to come across, but I also realized that words matter. And there are words that, even now that are being hijacked by the world that can mean different things and read into different things. And so in my attempt to be careful, I realized that I wasn't careful enough. And so at one point in my address to the church, I addressed my white brothers and sisters, and I just want you to hear me say that was a poor choice of words because I recognize that could convey something that I didn't intend to convey. That was not coming from an accusatory heart. That was not intended to bring any hurt, but I do apologize for those words if they hurt you. Please forgive me for any hurt I may have caused. My intent with that was not to call it, I know it has the potential to be used by the enemy to cause the very division that I'm trying to prevent. What I wanted to convey was the reality that as image bearers, our fellow image bearers have challenges, struggles, and prejudices that we don't face. And so we want to enter those conversations with deep humility, with a heart of compassion, with a heart of understanding, or a heart seeking to understand and to learn, but a heart of love. And as a body, we're called to do that. And so I want you to hear, this is not a political position. Our hope is Jesus. Our hope will always be Jesus. The hope for the hurting and the suffering in our own life. Only Jesus can heal that, and only Jesus can heal the hurt and suffering in the life of our brothers and sisters. And while my conviction hasn't changed, my heart hasn't changed, my challenge hasn't changed, but I realize that my words need to, because words matter, and I want to be careful to convey what I am asking of us as the body of Christ. That's my heart, and that's what I want to speak to. And I think we do have a responsibility as the body of Christ to love one another well. Jesus in John chapter 13, verse 34, calls the disciples. He says, "A new commandment I've given you, that you love one another." Well, now, if you stop right there, the disciples are saying, well, that's not a new commandment. We've always known that. We're to love the Lord our God, all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, love our neighbor as ourselves. We know these are the greatest commandments. But Jesus didn't stop there. He said, "A new commandment I've given you, that you would love one another in the same way that I have loved you. Love one another." Oh, that was new. That was radically new. And what we talked about Sunday is, we're not called to be nicer people. We're called to be a new people. And that's something only Christ can do and only the gospel can do. And so my hope for us as a body is that we would hurt with those who hurt, we would mourn with those who mourn, and then we would enter this conversation with deep humility that shows the same grace, love, and mercy that's been shown to us. But I did want to speak to my poor choice of words from Sunday, because my hope is that we come together. My heart, I love every member of our body. I love everyone created. Every one of us has deep value and significance, not because the government tells us, not because of the laws of the land, but because we are created in the image of our God. And I pray that as a church, we would champion that message, that truth, that we would love well. And that is the responsibility that we have. And so that's my heart. That's what I'm calling us to. But I wanted to address my words from Sunday because I realized the way in which I said that could cause hurt, and that was not my intention at all. That wasn't coming from a heart of accusation. It's coming from a heart of encouragement and challenge to us as believers to come together around the hope we have in Jesus. And so I'm looking to the healing that and restoration that only God can bring as we trust Him, as we walk together. And in saying that, I do want to add this. I said this Sunday. I don't think this issue is going to be solved on social media. This is going to be solved through relationships. And I recognize there are those that is a voice for you on social media, but I want to say this. I feel like sometimes for the sake of truth, we can sacrifice relationship, and God's called us to love well, and this isn't going to happen as we put, there's truth on all sides of the argument, but ultimately we're called to love one another with the hope of Jesus, and that's going to happen in conversations. That's going to happen in relationships, and that's what we're called to do. And so my prayer is that as a church we will lead out in that. And so we wanted to address that, but we also want to talk about some things that are coming up. We're so thankful for just the ways in which God is leading us and moving in the life of the church. And so this past Sunday, we got a chance Sunday afternoon to have our Q&A with Greg, our candidate for our children's minister. And there were some great questions that were asked. We had a good time to just share hearts, share vision together, and just hear where God's leading and where God's at work. And so I just want to remind you, if you weren't able to be a part of that, and you have some questions for Greg or for us as a church, please submit those. You can submit those digitally at questions@ebccrestview.com. And so if you will submit that to us, that would be great. We would love to hear from you if you have any questions, and we want to address those. And then this coming Sunday, the 14th, at 3 o'clock, we're going to gather again in the afternoon for our church business meeting. And at this business meeting, we're coming together to vote and affirm where we see God at work. And so our hope is that you'll join us in that. And if you're not able to come on campus, obviously there'll be opportunity to gather on campus. But if you can also join us online and join us digitally. So we made a way for that. We just need you to register. And so if you'll go to our registration page and sign up, you can register to let us know that you're coming on campus Sunday afternoon, or that you're going to join us through the live stream or the webinar to take part in our business meeting. And so we'd love for you to be a part of that. And then lastly, I had already mentioned our new service time of 10:30 and coming back on campus, and we're so thankful for that. We're going to continue that this coming Sunday, but then on June 21st, we're going to go. We've been working hard to get more of the body back on campus, and so we're going to go to 2 services, but our 10:30 service time is going to go away. We're going to go to a 9 o'clock service and an 11 o'clock service. Now that is on June 21st, not this coming Sunday. We're still at 10:30. But on June 21st, we're going to go to a 9 a.m. service and an 11 a.m. service. And we're still doing family worship where we're streaming the teaching over in Discovery Park and streaming the teaching over in the hangar. But those environments are specifically geared for our preschool families and for our families of children 3rd grade and under to have family-style worship together and then join the teaching. And so that we'll still follow that format. But we're going to do that. We're going to offer 2 opportunities for that, one at 9 a.m. and one at 11. And so we're excited about that. We're so thankful as you guys are continuing to join us. We know there are those that aren't ready to do that, and so we're definitely going to continue to stream and connect with you guys that way. And so, again, we are just excited and looking forward to all that God is going to do as we continue to follow and trust Him. We love you guys, and we'll see you Sunday.